Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, now is the time. It's another rewind, an MLW rewind. And I'm here with my podcast life partner, the one and only Uncle Bobby B. Say hi to the people.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good. Today we got, well, I'm not going to say a special guest, but we have a returning colleague. Someone who I journeyed in the early days of MLW with. The second oldest man on the planet. The official NCD, the man who said he had time constraints but releases a podcast every 17 seconds. Please welcome back to MLW Rewind, my former podcast life partner, LEWIS CARLAN. LEWIS, say what's up to the people.
Hey, it's good to be back. And I just want to correct you. It's actually every 18 seconds I release a podcast, not every 17 seconds. So
my apologies.
Just wanted to clear that and just want to dedicate this sip of English breakfast tea to Richard Holiday. Richard Holiday, this one's for you, baby.
Oh, my God. Richard, you know, here on MLW Rewind, we do not condone tea drinkers at all. Rob and I are coffee drinkers, but Lewis and I, we've been messaging back and forth lately. We decided to get back and do another wrap, another sit-down conversation as the new season of MLW creeps up ever closer. Now we are officially 28 days away, which is pretty damn cool. So first thing off the hop, Lewis, welcome back. And I got to ask, you see in the draft, the first 4 rounds, what are your thoughts on the new additions? Most recently, Aries.
Well, Aries is, I'll be honest, I wasn't really familiar with Aries, but I watched him on YouTube. Great match against another new signee, Aramis, which was a great match. So I'm very excited, but I'm the guy that I'm most excited about. I've been a big fan of this guy for a long time, Lee Moriarty. I can't wait for him to step into an MLW ring. And I got to say, with all these new middleweights coming in, Myron Reed's middleweight championship could be in jeopardy there, man.
It could be, but I mean, let's be honest. The only really challenge he had in the former division is now officially retired. As the news broke, you actually were one of the first few podcasters to drop the news. Leo Rush officially retired from wrestling after suffering an injury at Double or Nothing. So, and I think it was the right time. You know what they say? You always leave on your peak, leave on a high note. Might have not been the peak he was looking for, but I mean, Reed versus Rush 2 was definitely one hell of a way to go out on, considering that was his last official televised match before his AEW appearance. So, I mean, if you're going to go out, Reed versus Rush 2 lived up to all the hype that we had discussed in the early days of Rewind. Rob, what are your thoughts on the new signee or the new signees? And most importantly, this past round 4, where we saw the Aries is coming.
Aries looks great. Similar to Lewis, I wasn't too familiar. Went back and checked out some of his YouTube stuff. Dude's awesome. And I'm really stoked for Aramis too. I mean, I was doing some reading and this little blurb I found on Aramis where he said, this dream began when I was 5 years old. I knew with all certainty when my dad took me to my first training session, when I stepped in the ring, I knew that I would never leave. My love, admiration, and respect for this have only grown since. Conan has been a fundamental part of my career. I will always be grateful to him for believing in me. And because of that, AAA has trusted and supported me. Now I have even more of a chance to show my style of fighting, and it has even opened the door to my new house, MLW. Love that. Clearly, dude's got passion. And it's like what Lewis said, the middleweight division's getting pretty hefty. Like, one thing I like about MLW, their roster isn't huge. So like everybody gets a chance to show what they can do, which I like. But this MLW middleweight division is getting pretty packed. So it's going to be interesting to see some of the matches that are going to come out of this. And I'm going to echo Lewis because I called it on our show. Moriarty, dude, is such a supreme talent, has the best attitude. But I think Alicia might have told us that he's not necessarily like a full signee. He's just doing some.
I actually did.
You okay?
When I hit him up for an interview, he got back to me right away because we've been friends on Facebook for a time. So we've messaged back and forth. I'm not going to say we're super tight, but when I message, he responds. He said, "I appreciate you, dude, but I'm not doing podcasts right now unless I'm officially associated with the organization. And since you guys are a full MLW oriented only podcast, I'm not going to be doing any appearances unless I get the green light from Court Bauer and the boys, which I know Court Bauer will give the green light because he hasn't red lighted anybody that we brought on the show, from the connections that Lewis and I made early on to what you and I have brought on since then. But he did say that he's only going to make a few appearances and then we'll go from there. But he's really looking forward to show what he can do. And I know when I asked him, I said, well, one match I would love to see would be you versus the aerial artist, Genshi. I mean, I think that would be, if you're going to introduce Lee Moriarty to the MLW fan base, there's nobody better than Genshi to put him over. What are your thoughts on that, Lewis? Would you like to see Genshi versus Lee Moriarty?
Oh, absolutely. You know how I feel about Zenshi. Zenshi is just fantastic. He needs to get a couple of wins under his belt, but he's just a fantastic, fantastic talent. And I would absolutely love to see Moriarty against Zenshi. I would love to see Moriarty against Myron Reed as well. I know we mentioned the middleweight championship. That's the match I'm looking forward to the most. I hope it happens. Myron Reed defending the middleweight title against Lee Moriarty. I think that will be absolutely fantastic.
I actually have a different minded match for the middleweight division. As much as I love everything that Lee Moriarty brings to the table, I'm more intrigued to see Aramis and Myron Reed go at it. There's just something about that match that intrigues me because Myron has speed. Aramis has, don't get me wrong, everyone in the middleweight division has speed, but there's just something about Aramis that just it intrigues me. It intrigues me a lot, and way more than Aries. I don't know what it is about Aramis, but it's something about him, his style, the way he carries himself in the ring, the stories that I've seen him tell. That match intrigues me more. Now, obviously, these guys will have to work their way up. They're not just going to go toe-to-toe with Myron Reed the first week or two back, but it'll be interesting to see how the middleweight division plays out. One thing we haven't seen a whole lot of is I was expecting to see some new tag teams because I thought the tag team division could use a little bit of a reshuffle, and we haven't really seen any additions to the tag team. There are possibilities of some guys that could be put together as a thrown together tag team, but still the big dogs in the yard when it comes to the tag team division are obviously the Von Erichs. And of course, you've got the reigning defending champions, which is Lois Parks. But I mean, do we feel as it gets closer to July, there are a couple more drafts. I know there's a round 5 and a round 6. I know that for sure. Do we think we're going to get to see some more tag teams be drafted into MLW? Because now the middleweight division is stacked, which we spoke about a lot, that it was very weak in the early stages. There was only 4 or 5 guys. Now there's at least 10. But again, the tag team division has 2, maybe 3 teams at best, considering that Buku Down and TJP are no more. That's now scratch away one of the tag teams in the division. So Rob, I'll pass this question to you first. Your thoughts on possible tag teams being drafted in MLW as we creep closer to July?
I think it's going to happen. Court is the more I watch MLW, the more respect I have for Court Bauer and his mind for wrestling and business. So I think he's aware that they're going to need a few more tag teams, and they're gonna do some pickups. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that's available that they might go for. Like you said, we might see some people shoehorned together into a tag team, which I'm fine with. Sometimes tag matches give people a different opportunity to showcase their abilities because it's a different psychology than a singles match. So I'm okay to see that personally. What if we saw someone like Zenshi and someone like Lee Moriarty actually like team up as a tag team? Like that would be some pretty lit matches. But yeah, we're definitely going to see some more tag teams come into the fray. And it wouldn't surprise me to see maybe some tag teams from elsewhere come into MLW and challenge too, because we know MLW is not adverse to working with people who are not necessarily signed or who are working for other promotions. TJP appears regularly. So it could be some real interesting developments over the next few weeks.
I like it. I actually have one team in mind. I want to call them Heavyweight Fight because it would be Heavyweight Hustle Calvin Takeman and Let's Fight Mike Perot. I think that would be an amazing tag team. Heavyweight Fight. Book it, sign it. It's got to happen. Lewis, I did that just for you. That was old school. What are your thoughts on some more tag teams coming into MLW?
Well, Court Bauer, and I agree with Bobby. Court Bauer is just fantastic in finding undiscovered talent. There's one tag team out there that I'm surprised is not signed to a promotion right now, the besties in the world, Davey Vega, Matt Fitchett. I would love to see them in MLW. They would have tremendous matches against the Von Erichs. And that's one team that I got my fingers crossed. I hope we see in round 5 or 6 that they get brought into the MLW roster.
I like it. I like it a lot. But I mean, what are your thoughts on Heavyweight Fight? I mean, that's just got gold written all over it.
Oh, a Heavyweight Fight. I thought you meant tag team. Sorry.
No, tag teams in general, but also Heavyweight Fight. I mean,
oh no, Heavyweight Fight. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be a fan of Heavyweight Fight, to be honest. 2 different styles. I don't think they would work together well. So I give a big thumbs down to Heavyweight Fight. Sorry.
That's what I expected. I mean, hey, it's all good. It's all good. Listen, we only got about 20 minutes left, and I know you got your 11:30 nap coming up, so we'll try to speed this up for you real quick.
It's okay. This tea is extra caffeinated, so I'm okay.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Richard, I apologize again for all
Lewis. We got to get you on the espresso, bro.
Yeah.
I like your cup. I like the cup, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you have
You're
to do the
welcome.
pinky when you do the cup.
You got to do that.
You got to pinky.
I can't do that with the big cup beers though. I tried it, but I'll drop it.
It's the only thing big that's ever been in your hands. Okay.
Hey, can I drop something real quick?
What?
I don't know if this is speaking out of turn, but
Sure.
I tagged Court. I did a post on my story. I know that his goal has always been Japan, but Tommy End, the former Alistair Black, would fit so well in MLW. His cinematic ability, his ability to tell stories, his character, his kickboxing background, he would just slot right in to MLW so well. Court, if you're listening to this, do your best to get Tommy End, man. Like that dude would just lift the whole division.
There's only one small issue with that. Tony Khan could afford a lot more money than Court Bauer can.
Sure he can, but Tommy's already said he's not about the money at this point. So
that's true. That's true.
It could go anywhere.
That's true. Good point. Good point there.
And
so
I mean,
I'd like to see it happen.
Tony Khan is throwing around a lot of money, but I mean, let's be honest. He keeps creating shows because his roster is so oversaturated. So yes, Tony Khan has a shit ton of money. Actually, correction. Tony Khan's daddy has a shit ton of money. Let's get that straight. It's not Tony. Tony didn't earn the money. His dad did. Tony's just inheriting the money when dad kicks the bucket. So everyone's riding coattails. And hey, what's the best thing to do in wrestling right now? I mean, even though shows are open, especially in the States, they're doing shows. They're masked up. They're not masked up. It's all choice at this point. Selling out baseball stadiums, Double or Nothing. We had a full crowd. So at this point, yes, absolutely. AEW has all the money in the world next to WWE, but obviously WWE is not going to pick up somebody that they released. Fine. We know that. But the fact of the matter remains is, like Rob said, Tommy's not about the money, and it's all about showcasing great wrestling. And MLW has some of the best wrestling. And now with the Vice TV deal, a lot more people, a lot more eyes are going to see that. So, I mean, if Tommy wants to go back in and prove what he could do in the ring, which is what he never got to do on the main roster, he only got to do it on NXT and only got to do it for a little bit because he was so hot that he had to jump up. I think Tommy would be great there, but unfortunately, it pains me to agree with Lewis, but also know that he's probably going to end up in AEW just for the simple fact that AEW is buying everybody. I mean, look, they brought Mark Henry out of retirement to do what? What exactly are they doing with? And he was the big secret. Just like the last pay-per-view, Christian Cage was the big secret. I'm sorry, but wrestling is all about evolution. They actually even have a show called Evolve. How can you have one of your 4 now coming in January, 4 shows, one of them called Evolve, and yet you don't fucking evolve? You're just WCW 2.0. And I don't know.
Okay, let's not talk about AEW because this is an MLW podcast, but I'm going to fucking argue with you off air.
Fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that. You could argue.
Not WCW 2.0.
Yeah,
but
no,
they're buying everybody.
agree.
They're buying all the legends. All the
I
legends.
agree.
All the guys that should kick the bucket.
I agree. It's not WCW 2.0. I agree 100%. It's nowhere near WCW 2.0.
Not the whole format, but bringing in all the legends. It's the same type of
Okay,
feel.
but
what are you going to do with Mark Henry? What are you going to do with Mark Henry?
Show me a wrestler who has not gone through WWE in the past 20, 30 years. Almost everybody has. Almost everybody, from Kenny Omega to AJ Styles to all the way on down. They all went through WWE. So it's almost impossible to sign somebody who hasn't been in WWE at this point.
I'm not talking about that. Yes, you're right. That I agree with you. I'm talking about the format of why are they bringing in older guys when they have all these new talents?
Well, Mark Henry is just going to be working in the back. He's working behind the scenes. He's not going to be wrestling. He's not
don't make him as the big signee then and bring him out on pay-per-view. Just announce it on your Twitter. Guess what? Mark Henry's coming back. He's going to spread some knowledge.
Well, it's Mark Henry. It's not. They're not bringing in Alex Kane to work behind the scenes. That they would announce on Twitter. Mark Henry is a big name.
D'Lo Brown is just as much of a name as Mark Henry. Maybe not as big as Mark Henry, but he's a name. When he was added to the Impact Wrestling announce team, did they do a whole big thing? No, they just said, "Hey, look who's on the announce team. It's D'Lo Brown." Come on,
that's Impact.
That's Impact, yeah. But anyway, let's get back to MLW, man. Let's get
back.
I
think it's classier. You started the train. It's all your fault, Lewis, because you mentioned Tony Khan. It's all your fucking fault. All right.
I mentioned his name. You ran with him, man. So
I did because.
But I don't think AEW is going to sign Tommy End. I honestly don't.
I hope they don't. I honestly
think
and truly hope they don't, because the roster is oversaturated as it is. You can't just keep adding shows to fill your roster. That's all I'm going to say.
You can even see him pop up in like Noah or something. I'm just saying, like, I know he wants to go to Japan, so you could see him not necessarily in New Japan, but in Japan. Anyways,
speaking of Japan, right before the season ended, a few weeks before the season ended, news broke that All Japan Pro Wrestling was going to be coming to MLW. Now with the new season kicking off, who do we expect to see from All Japan Pro Wrestling make any debuts? Who do we expect? How do we expect them to introduce All Japan into a storyline for MLW when the new season kicks off?
Oh, I didn't hear this news. This is news to me. All Japan Pro Wrestling worked out a deal with MLW.
They've been working out a deal for a long time. You and I talked about it on one of the second last.
Not All Japan Pro Wrestling. It wasn't a Dragon Gate.
Sorry, my apologies. You're right. I retract.
Yeah,
Okay.
you confused me there. What the?
All right,
Yeah.
Dragon Gate. Sorry, Dragon Gate. They are coming. How do we expect them to work Dragon Gate into the fold?
You had me very excited there for a second, because I love All Japan. I love All Japan, but okay, Dragon Gate.
Early for me too. I have two small children. I was up at 5. Leave me alone.
Okay.
So Dragon Gate. How do we expect them to introduce Dragon Gate into the fold as the new season kicks off in July?
Who's that question for? Me or Bobby?
That's for you there, oldie.
Okay. While I love Japan wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, All Japan, I'm not really 100% familiar with the talent in Dragon Gate at the moment, but I can see kind of like I don't want to say AEW again, because we just had a big fight about it, but AEW bringing in New Japan guys, something along those lines, bringing in some Dragon Gate talent to face like a Myron Reed, or maybe there's a super heavyweight that could fight with Mike Perot, something like that. So maybe it's not going to be a huge influx of Japanese talent coming in. I think it'll just be guess who's coming this week, and this talent will be here for 2 weeks, and then we won't hear about talent again for maybe 2 or 3 months. Then another talent will come in. They'll gradually bring talent in. That's how I see it happening.
Okay. You don't see an invasion angle of any kind?
Nah, the invasion angle, aren't they having an invasion angle right now with Aztec Underground anyway?
Yeah, kind of, but really it's more or less just they're there. I still think the storyline of Aztec Underground and Contra, somewhere along the lines, those swords have to cross. And I would love to see promos between the two heads. I mean, we love Joseph Samael. Yeah, we know what he can do.
We don't need an invasion angle.
The biggest stable in Dragon Gate is Red, Real Extreme Diffusion.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was going to be an invasion angle, it would be probably Red coming in, because they're the only ones that have like a bunch of members in their stable, kind of like a New Japan Chaos kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
There's just like half the fucking rosters in there. And I was just browsing the Dragon Gate roster, similar to Lewis. I'm not too familiar with. I know Pac made his name there.
Mm-hmm. That's really the only one I know. That's the only reason I know about Dragon Gate.
Yeah, interesting footnote. And I believe a lot of wrestlers have wrestled. I think the Bucks have gone there. Like, I think a lot of people have gone through there. But interesting footnote: Dragon Gate USA was closed and purchased by WWE in 2020. So whatever presence they had in America is now owned by WWE. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that could be more.
Is that what started
for them to team with MLW?
Do you think that's what started the rumors of NXT and MLW working together? I mean, I shared it because it was a fucking joke, but everyone took it literally, so I had to highlight that it was a joke because it clearly said in the picture Triple H's burner account, but everybody was like, "It's a joke, fake news." I'm like, I know, that's why I tweeted it, for fuck's sakes.
I know. I was like, it says burner account. Like, come on, people.
So do you think that's because they own Dragon Gate in the US, that's what possibly started these rumors?
So Dragon Gate kind of started. Dragon Gate unified with Evolve in 2011.
That's how they.
And then they stopped running shows in 2015, and then WWE bought them last year. So it's like WWE just kind of seized on it, and I guess they got all the Evolve back catalog and all that stuff. So pretty typical WWE move. Just of course buy anybody who's moving in if you can afford them. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that. Oh, Akira Tozawa, that's the other guy I knew that had gone through there. Akira Tozawa. So it should be interesting. It should be really interesting. And Shingo Takagi, the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion, also went through Dragon Gate because he was a freelancer long before. He has a great story. But anyways, back to MLW. It'll be interesting to see what they do, if anything, with Dragon Gate.
All right, so let's discuss the match that I'm intrigued to see. Battle Riot. This is like a Royal Rumble style match, but it's a little different because you can pin, submit, or throw somebody over the top. So it adds layers to it. And we know being in the ECW arena in July, there's definitely going to be some surprises. Probably some ECW legends coming back to make an appearance. It will happen because it's the house that ECW built. Legends aside, and the fact that the draft is only a couple more rounds, I think there's one draft every week leading up. So we're looking at another 3 or 4 more rounds before July 10th hits. Anybody that may not be drafted that might get a shot. We already know the first entrant is Hammerstone, and we already know who's going to win. It's going to be Hammerstone because that's the only way he can get through the gatekeeper clause. Well, it's the only way he can get through the gatekeeper clause.
Let's not say he's going to win. We know that Hammerstone is going to go out there and do he's going to put everything on the line to win that match because he knows that's the only way he's going to get a title shot.
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't know who's going to win.
Well,
okay. So Hammerstone wins. And
yeah, I hate to say it, but I agree with George. There's no way Hammerstone is going to.
Thank you.
For fuck's sakes, guys, kayfabe it.
No, I can't kayfabe it. It's a 2.5 year
way.
storyline
no
that
way
we
he's
bitched
gonna
about.
lose.
We bitched
we
about
know
it.
he's going to win, but
okay. So Hammerstone possibly 99.999% going to win. There's a 0.1001% chance.
It's Court Bauer. He could fucking swerve the shit out of all of us. You never know.
He swerved me a few times. But side note, so we know that Hammerstone's the first entrant. Anybody else that we know is going to, I mean, majority of the roster is going to get entered in. That's a fact. But any surprises that we might see or any names that might pop up. Now, I'm going to put this to rest now. For anybody that's watching, anybody that's been released by WWE will not be contractually obligated to hit the July 10th show. So forget about it. So let's cross all those names off the list. But gentlemen, any surprises or any indie guys that you would like to see if you could throw in, because let's face it, the roster's not 60 people. This is going to hit, or this roster's not going to fill every spot. So any ideas? It's free reign. Do your thing. Rob, you first.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it would be cool just because it's the ECW arena to have RVD pop up and do a couple spots in the Battle Riot. But I know I'm pretty sure his booking fees are kind of up there. So I don't know if that's something they're going to splurge on for a small spot. Mm-hmm. Man, I don't know. There's a lot of good people out there. Any ECW legend, like you could see Tommy Dreamer pop up. You could see Rhino pop up. You could especially Impact guys, because Impact will let them work other shows. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It could be. What if you see like guys like what if Sandman comes out with a kendo stick and just starts blasting people for a couple minutes and then gets fucking tossed out? Like, who knows? It could be just a free for all of old ECW guys. Court just could pull out all the stops and just have half the old roster coming out and do quick spots and get eliminated. I really like the concept for this match. I think it's like, it's not like a Royal Rumble because it's more complex, and because of MLW's roster, there's going to be more surprises than you would see on, say, a Royal Rumble. So this is a real interesting. And, Contra Unit's going to be in this. Mm-hmm. They could be doing everything to keep Hammerstone from winning. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You never know.
Absolutely. But what intrigues me the most about this match before I pass it off to Lewis is the fact that you can pin or submit somebody. Now, if that ring gets full, it'd be really hard to pin some. Actually, what? I don't see many people stopping somebody from pinning someone unless it's somebody in Contra that's getting pinned. That's the only real way I could see somebody stopping a pin or submission, or like somebody that's in one of the factions that's there. That's the only way I can really see it paying any dues. Okay, that's my Aztec on the ground guy. I'm not going to let him get pinned or submitted, so I'll stop it. But if it's somebody else, like if Calvin Tankman pins Buku Dao, nobody's stopping that pin. And vice versa. Like obviously Buku Dao could not pin Calvin Tankman, but we can hope. Lewis, any ideas on surprises or anybody you'd like to see pop up in Battle Riot?
Actually, I'm looking at the Dragon Gate roster right now, and there's one guy on the roster that I didn't know was on the roster. Is a big name, would be a great surprise. Mm-hmm. Ultimo Dragon.
Yes.
Ultimo Dragon would be a great surprise. He's a well-known name, especially here in the States. I think Ultimo Dragon would be a great surprise. And I know Bobby said Tommy Dreamer. I would almost guarantee that Tommy Dreamer is going to be there. I think he's allowed to wrestle for any promotion that he wants to.
Yeah.
So I think it's almost guaranteed Tommy Dreamer is going to be there. And what if they work out a deal with WWE and a few NXT guys show up? I know it probably won't happen, but what if?
Could be
okay,
very.
So let's go with the what if for a second. If that happens, give me 2 names in NXT you would like to see make an appearance in Battle Riot.
Two names. Two names that I would like to see. Who are the grizzled vets? Who are those guys?
Grizzled young veterans. Yes.
Grizzled young
Yes.
veterans would be
Yes.
that would be good. Yeah.
Very good. I like it. Okay. Bobby B, any ideas on anybody if that could happen? We're talking what if scenarios.
There's a lot of great wrestlers in NXT, but just because of kind of where their stories are going right now, I don't know if it'll happen, but I would think Austin Theory would be cool to see pop up. I'd like to see Swerve pop up in there. Swerve is amazing. Mm-hmm. I'm not crazy about the gimmick they got I'm doing right now, but even someone like Kushida.
Oh yeah,
Kushida would be cool. Extra well known in Japan, obviously, but they all kind of have like storylines happening right now, so I'm not sure if they would pop up. But I don't think it would be, if anyone from NXT does go, I don't think it'll be like one of the bigger names. It'll be like more of an NXT person rather than like a Finn Balor or Adam Cole kind of thing.
Right.
What about Rocky Romero? You think Rocky Romero will be?
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Romero's made appearances before on MLW. I don't see why he wouldn't be. So that's the thing, right? I mean, MLW's had working relationships with New Japan for a long time. There have been New Japan guys that have appeared on MLW, so it's not unlike that we may see some New Japan guys also. I definitely know we are going to see some Dragon Gate names just because of the simple fact. And again, I apologize for saying All Japan. I don't know why I had it in my head. I just did. But Dragon Gate, there are some guys. There definitely are some. That's the only way. Really, this is the one match where they can work these Dragon Gate guys in to start making these appearances, to start this working relationship that they've built together. And are we going to see at any time during this draft, are we going to see any females get drafted into the roster? They talked about it before they shut down, before they started up again in November. But they talked about it getting a women's division together. We talked about it with Alicia on our last episode. It's overdue, in my opinion, in MLW. I'm very pro women's wrestling, so I'm always going to support the women because I think they deserve it. But will they start drafting any females in these last couple of rounds to start building up this women's division? Lewis, I can already see you licking your lips, waiting to interrupt me. So go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt you. I never interrupt you, but they should definitely. What's that?
All the time.
Okay.
Go back and watch any of the archives all the time.
Okay. Can I talk now? Is it cool?
You can talk now.
Okay, cool. I think they should definitely get this women's division going. And there's one talent out there that they should make the centerpiece of the MLW women's division. Her name is LuFisto. LuFisto should be the face of the MLW women's division. I don't know why they don't have one right now, but they should definitely get one going, and she should be the face of the MLW women's division. 100%.
I agree. I have no problems with that. I love LuFisto. I had her on the show on Straight Talk. She's fantastic talent. She's a great person, and she's a sweetheart, and she's the goddess of hardcore. That's what I dubbed her, and I don't disagree with that. So
also a pioneer in the world of intergender wrestling. Like she was, as far as I know, like the first one doing it pretty regularly.
The only one doing it for a very long time before it started becoming, oh, this is kind of cool. We should try this. Yeah.
Now you got MV Young just like tossing women off of stages. Like it's crazy how it's progressed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
George, I don't think they're going to be drafting women on this draft.
Okay.
I don't think that would be how they'll set up the division. If they set it up, it'll be like they're going to have a little core roster to work with and maybe some working relationships. But if we're talking NXT, like they've got a pretty stacked women's roster. They could afford to send some people over for matches. I don't see why not. I'd love to see like The Way pop up on MLW. You'd get Gargano, Theory, you'd get Indy Hartwell, you'd get Candice LeRae right there. You've got some great wrestlers, but I know Johnny Gargano loves NXT and doesn't intend on leaving anytime soon, so I don't know if that would happen.
Well, in the words of Triple H, right? I mean, WWE has the best women's wrestlers in the business today, and if they're not there, they want to be there. So, and I had to throw it out. It was a segue. I had to throw it out. I had to.
And not to disagree with Lewis, because I think LuFisto would be amazing. But if I was Court and I'm looking to sign somebody as the face of my women's division to make my women's division noticeable and look real good, I'm signing Masha Slamovich.
That was my number one pick in our open draft.
Is a great pick right there. Absolutely fantastic pick.
You're only saying it's a great pick because you said it. If I had said it, he'd find.
No, I'm a big Slamovich fan. She's huge.
I just want to put this on wax now. Masha Slamovich was my number one pick in the draft when we did our mock draft with Bo from Dirty Heels. I said
only because I let you have her.
You didn't let me have her. Listen, we both could have had her. We both could have had her. We both could have had her.
Motherfucker.
I already had her in my head. That was where it was going the whole time. I let you have Lee Moriarty. I didn't fight you on it. I did not fight
you. Yeah, because I picked him first. Masha, it blows my mind that AEW or WWE, for that matter, has not signed Masha. She's got so much personality. She's so good in the ring. She will beat the fuck out of anybody. Like, I cannot believe nobody's picked her up. The only thing I can assume is like she just maybe doesn't want to get signed right now. She likes she's in Japan, she's here, she's there, Cali, whatever. But hey, wherever she goes, she would be a huge lift.
100%.
I mean, Impact Wrestling, they had her have 2 matches, I think in 2019, and they didn't bother with her, which is a huge mistake. She should definitely be on a major roster right now. I agree with you 100%. I don't know why. I don't know why she's not, man. I don't know why she's not.
A lot of companies have screwed up with the way that they presented her and the way that they booked her. And right now, I think she's just her calendar is full. Every weekend, she's at a show. Every weekend, she's doing something. So I definitely think that if you're going to make somebody the fate, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with having the torch being passed. So you can still work that idea where you have Lufisto, you have Masha, and then you have them, match it up. And then at the end of that match, you have that show of respect. Lufisto handing over the torch saying, you got it. And maybe Lufisto becomes a manager and guides her through the roster and helps her kill it to become the first ever MLW Women's Champion. I mean, there's a lot of ways to work that. So neither idea is bad. I agree with both. One a little bit more than the other for obvious age differences and reasons. And that Masha was my pick. But I do agree with both sides there. I was nice.
They'd both be solid, no doubt.
7.5 minutes left, and I was completely nice. Final couple questions, and we'll wrap it up. The storylines that are starting in July, we know are going to. They wrapped up a lot of storylines in the season finale. I said it with Rob. Season finale was one of the best episodes of this year, in my opinion. I loved how everything got tied up in a nice little neat bow, and they started the new storylines. Any ideas where you guys think these storylines are going to pick up right where they left off? Or are we going to work the crowd back in? Because there may be, like I said, there's going to be a lot of new eyes on MLW come July 10th. Lewis, you first.
Okay, I was going to say, Bobby, you go first. But no, I think it's going to pick up right where they left off. Gina Medina attacking Richard Holiday. I think I'd be shocked if they don't have a match on July 10th. I don't know. The only Battle Riot's been announced right now. They haven't announced any matches yet, right?
Just Battle Riot, yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think they'll go right into the storylines. I don't think there'll be any waiting. Richard Holiday's got to get his revenge against Gina Medina, and I don't know if you saw that Alicia too I want to point this out. She seemed a little concerned for Richard Holiday. For someone who hates Richard Holiday, she seemed a little concerned about Richard Holiday getting attacked. I don't know if you noticed that.
We did, and we addressed it on the interview. We asked her, and
okay.
she said, at the end of the day, she doesn't want to see anybody from the roster be hurt.
Okay.
She said she did get a little of enjoyment, the fact that it was Richard, but also didn't appreciate the comments right before his head got slammed, which was, I didn't quit, I got fired. I didn't get fired, I quit, bitch. So she didn't appreciate that for obvious reasons. But I believe that those two men are going to definitely be in Battle Riot. I think they're going to get a spot in Battle Riot, which will eventually lead to a match in the following weeks. I don't think that match will be announced right off the hop. I think the best way to do it is to have those two find a spot in Battle Riot to kind of shit talk, then knock each other, and maybe they both eliminate each other, and the fight just carries on to the back. That's why I could kind of see that working, which would lead ultimately to the match. But again, it's not a bad idea if they were to have a match right off the hop, but I think you've got to build. It's been a steady build, and the only way the build ends, unfortunately, I think that the Caribbean Championship is going to change hands, but that's just my opinion. Nothing against Richard Holiday. I just think Gino's going to find a way to take it from Richard. Bobby, your thoughts on how the storylines are going to work out when July 10th drops?
Nobody's taking that title off of Richard Holiday. There's nobody dynastic enough to penetrate that layer.
He's not on the show.
Air.
Stop pandering, for fuck's sakes.
He's the most electrifying talent in MLW. So Gino Medina had to resort to a dastardly sneak attack. It's just not going to happen. Holiday will get his revenge, and if not in the ring, in court.
You're a huge Holiday fan, aren't you?
Well, I just appreciate, talent, and I recognize like real talent. So it's and I do not condone Alicia's comments towards Richard, but I respect her. So we always like having her on the show. But I think the storylines are going to continue slow build, typical Cora Bauer style. We're not going to give you matches for no reason. We're going to give you storylines and we're going to draw them out. Like, show me another promotion where they've had a champion for 700 days recently.
No,
Doesn't
NXT,
happen.
but only, or not NXT, sorry, NWA, only because of really COVID, to be honest with you.
Right.
Right.
So like it's I think it's just going to be more slow burn. I think we're going to see Holiday and Medina. We're going to see Azteca Underground and everybody against everybody. I'm looking real forward to this upcoming season. Like, and I've gotten so many people in on MLW now. I'm like, are you guys watching MLW? This is what's going on. And they're all like, really? No, I've never really watched it. July 10th, picks back up. Start watching it. I can't fucking wait.
Absolutely. The countdown is on for sure. And a couple other points I wanted to point out. Savio Vega, I thought he died, but apparently he got drafted. He's back. So apparently reincarnation is a thing. And also, considering that everyone keeps mentioning Conan, Hermes and Aries both mentioned Conan as fixtures in their careers, would not be a shocker to see Conan make an appearance. And again, Conan was somebody that also kayfabe, because we got to keep it kayfabe for Rob here. Kayfabe died on MLW. These two guys both kayfabe died and still breathing. So I don't know how they're going to tie those in, but
here we go. Confirmed for Battle Riot. Hammerstone, the Von Erichs, Contra Unit, Richard Holiday, Davey Richards, Tom Lawler, Dominic Guarini, Kevin Koo, Myron Reed, King Muertes, Cesar Duran, Conan, and more. So he's confirmed. He'll be in there.
So, I mean, I guess reincarnations are a thing. Selena Vega effectively had both of these men killed, but
maybe Savio Vega is a zombie. Maybe they're gonna go the zombie route.
That would be awesome.
I mean, if we are reincarnating people, reincarnate wrestlers. I'm down with that.
Absolutely. Why not? It's MLW. Anything can happen. As always, guys, don't forget to be sure to check out all the socials, as we are going to drop one every week or every 2 weeks leading up to the July 10th kickoff of the new season for MLW. I want to thank my current podcast life partner, who we are going to fight off the air because we both have things to say. Uncle Bobby B. Shout out your socials because we got less than a minute. And then Lewis, then I'll say goodbye.
The real Uncle Bobby B on Instagram. That's where you find me.
Lewis, we got less than a minute, so make it quick.
Okay, I'll just my Twitter is @ShootingUpNorth on Twitter, and Alliance Pro Wrestling Network YouTube channel. You go.
Perfect. Guys, you all know mine. Straight Talk everywhere. And the YouTube is Straight Talk, where you can find MLW Rewind. That's it for me, my podcast life partner, and the second oldest man on the planet. Peace, love, and wrestling. We'll see you guys next time.